on, good dudes. Today on Ian vs. Daddybones, we're talking about Ninja Turtles.
Oh boy, kids, we're gonna have fun today.
Yay! Hey! Alright!
How is everyone doing tonight?
Welcome back. It's another exciting episode of Ian vs. Daddybones. I'm Ian Daddybones. I want to thank everybody for tuning into the episode. Special high five and a shout out and a nut dap to all the Patreon subscribers who throw me $1 a month. I fucking love y'all. Especially our newest Patreon subscriber, Outbreak Monkey. Who the fuck is Outbreak Monkey? Easy. He's a rapper I've been listening to for over the past 2 years. During the pandemic, when I'm down in the basement, working out and shit, not drinking, becoming a better me. I've been listening to Outbreak Monkey along the way, and you should too. You should check out his music on Spotify, YouTube Music, and all sorts of other digital platforms, because I think he's fucking fresh, and you should too. And it's kind of funny how I got introduced to Outbreak Monkey, because in a future video, I'm going to be talking about Horrible Home Video and the VHS boxes and Killator's Evoke Often album. And basically, during the pandemic, Killator was selling these VHS boxes, right? And the VHS boxes were full of all sorts of shit, like packs of 90s trading cards, stickers, pins, buttons, and there was also flyers for other artists that Killator was friendly with and whatnot, and he was helping promote. And Outbreak Monkey had one of his flyers, Welcome to the Stoned Age, in that in one of the boxes. I think it was Ernest Goes to Camp Crystal Lake was the box I got, and I found Outbreak Monkey's flyer, and I saw his album available for purchase on Google Play Music before it switched over to YouTube Music. So I grabbed a couple Outbreak Monkey albums, and I gotta say, you know, for random dudes whose music I actually decided to check out on the internet, I fell in love with his shit real quick, and I highly recommend it. So thank you very much, Outbreak Monkey, my homie Frank, for your support on the Patreon. And if you'd like to throw me $1 a month, get your name in the credits, get access to bonus features, all you gotta do is click the link. Well, not click it, you gotta write it out and put it into a browser. It's not like a clickable button or anything. I'm not that much of a YouTube genius when it comes to putting out my show. I haven't learned that little trick yet, but go to the patreon.com/Ian vs. Daddybones, and you too can be a subscriber for only $1 a fucking month. Give me your money. I also got more good news. I officially have a Twitter again. How did I get a Twitter after having my original Geek podcast at OGPC at Twitter.com canceled and banned and whatnot? I got canceled. Basically, it was easy. It started with my son's Christmas present. Like, for those who've been listening to the past couple of episodes, y'all know that I was pretty stressed during the holiday season, especially with our furnace being on the fritz, which I can officially say is now 100% back up and running. Everything is good. We got to put the kerosene and the electric heaters away, and we don't have to smell that shit anymore, and everything's back to normal, and all is fresh. But basically, when we ordered the kids' Christmas presents, my son wanted a new phone. So my wife and I came through and we got our son his new phone, and it happened to be a Google Pixel that he wanted. So his Google Pixel arrived, and my wife had a rule in the beginning was, okay, we want you kids to be aware of packages that show up at the house because mom and dad are at work. So it's up to y'all to pay attention to the ring cam and hear any noises on the porch. Pay attention to the dogs barking. Make sure none of the crackheads, junkies, and losers in the neighborhood steal our fucking shit. And once the packages are secure and safe and in the house, nobody's allowed to open nothing until we get home. Because mom wants that, oh my god, open it up. I can't wait to see the look on your face when you open your present. That's what Amber wanted. So she told the kids, don't open your gifts. Wait until we get home. Did my son listen? Absolutely not. So my son opened up his phone, and long story short, because he didn't wait for us to get home, he took it upon himself to open the phone. He got the phone set up. He took the little paper clip, he jammed it in the hole, and he popped out the SIM card tray. And my son assumed this is where my SD card goes. So he puts the SD card in the SIM card tray on the Google Pixel, inserts it back into the phone, and when he does that, the memory card falls through the SIM card tray into the phone and gets stuck. So now he's got an SD card stuck in the SIM card tray on his Google Pixel. And now, come to find out, my wife wound up buying him a refurbished phone. It was a Google Pixel 3. So because it wasn't a brand new phone, it was a refurbished model. It didn't come in the original box. It wasn't brand new. I didn't get to peel the plastic off the screen. And it didn't really come with shit, including an instruction manual. But, in my way of thinking, I'm looking at it like, if I'm going to buy a PlayStation 5, or if I'm going to buy an Xbox, I'm going to do my research and watch some videos of people doing unboxings, openings, setups, and weighing the pros and the cons to help me make a decision when it comes to what I'm going to purchase at the end of the day. So, basically, and I'm not calling my son a dumbass. Seriously, I'm not calling you a dumbass. I know you're sitting there on the other side of the camera. All is well. But basically, what it comes down to is if he would have done the research and looked into it, he would have noticed that the Google Pixel doesn't use SD cards. There's no storage expansion. So there was nowhere for that SD card to go in the first place. So, on one hand, it's kind of his own fault that it got stuck on the phone, even though I totally relate to him because it was a stressful moment. However, Grandma came through, and Grandma wound up ordering him another Google Pixel 3, and he got his new Google Pixel 3 all set up, ready to go, which means Dad is now in possession of the old Google Pixel 3. And by having the old Google Pixel 3 with the memory card still stuck into it, I don't plan on using it as an actual phone, so I don't need the SIM card. I could just use it as a backup Wi-Fi device so I could play mobile games and shit and not have to worry about my main phone being cluttered or the battery wearing down faster and whatnot. And I also set up a second TikTok account for Pops the Dancing Bear. And that's the thing. It's Pops the Dancing Bear's Wi-Fi device. So Pops the Dancing Bear took it upon himself, and Pops the Dancing Bear, not Ian Daddybones, will be running the official Ian vs Daddybones at Twitter. So if you fuck around with the Twitter machine, head on over to Twitter, Ian vs Daddybones, and that's where you can follow everything that has to do with Ian versus Daddybones on Twitter. I'm back, Jack, keeping it whack, and that's where you need to go to follow me with all my bullshit on the daily. It's going to be fucking awesome. But today on the show, we are moving along. And before we move along, I do actually have to run it back real quick. Real quick before moving on, I have to run it back to episode 11. Because last episode we talked about Trapjaw. Talked about Origins Trapjaw, Mini Comics Trapjaw, Masterverse Trapjaw, and various animated forms of Trapjaw. However, there was one Trapjaw figure I did not include in the last episode that I'm just going to discuss real quick. This is the Trapjaw figure from the 2021 Netflix CG animated reboot He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. This is the second form of the character we get introduced to as Cronus, and when Skeletor shares the power of the Havoc and turns his minions into the Dark Masters, Cronus evolves and becomes Trapjaw. So this is the action figure for what I'm referring to in my house, so my wife knows the difference between He-Man lines. There's Origins, Masterverse, Vintage, and Sadie's. This is Sadie's Trapjaw. This is my daughter's action figure. And I gotta say, holding it in my hand and comparing it to like the back in the day vintage figures, the articulation is very minor. Like his legs move. You know, he turns at the waist. He actually has an action feature. So this Masters of the Universe toy line is as close as you're going to get to the original vintage action features that are not present in Origins. But Trapjaw's, his hands rotate, his arms go up and down, his chest and torso actually pulls back as well. So he springs forward for like a headbutt, arm slamming attack, which I think is pretty neat. And he's got in this version of the character, he's got this oversized, super deformed, outrageously big mechanical arm. But unlike the vintage and the Masterverse and the classics and the 2000 and X Trapjaw, this Trapjaw does not have any weapon attachments that interchange or swap out. All he has is this claw on the end, and the claw turns and spins around, but it also has a giant ass hole in the middle, as you can see. See, I'm fingering the hole. As you see, that where the hole is, that's where the projectile goes. And the projectile is like this translucent purple missile that's shaped like a purple penis. And the translucent purple penis goes inside the hole, and then you grab it by the shaft, and then you pull it back. And once you got a firm grip on that motherfucker, you let go of it, and next thing you know, the shaft just shoots out of the hole, and it goes flying across the room, and it could hit like your 2-year-old in the eye, and you know, it's dangerous. It's like the Boba Fett back in the day backpack missile with his jetpack. But I do gotta say, overall, this is a really cool figure. I think it's kind of neat. You know, it was actually funny because while I was hunting for my Origins Trapjaw last year, I actually thought it was kind of fucked up how I was able to find this Trapjaw before I found the one I was looking for. So Sadie got a Trapjaw before I got a Trapjaw. So, you know, that's how I let her know she's my favorite, because I let her get Trapjaw before I got Trapjaw. Yeah, she's my favorite. Stop making that face at me. She's the only one that doesn't make me sad. Moving on! Today on the show, we're talking about Ninja Turtles. And it's going to be radical. Now, I want to say before I get into as I get into the Turtles, because it's not like I'm stalling. Hold on a second while I vape. Oh yeah, speaking of vaping, you know what? This coming April, it's going to be 10 years since I had a tobacco cigarette. I've been vaping for 10 years this spring. But that's in the spring. Looking back, since we're officially in January though, I can officially say, as of right now, I am 1 year alcohol free. I haven't had a single drop of booze in over the year, and I feel fucking fresh. But moving on to Ninja Turtles. Last year, when I got introduced to like websites like Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth and whatnot, when I was, you know, looking at those websites as alternatives besides Amazon, Walmart, and Target, one of my friends, Eric Pinhat, he's a pro wrestler, he's from the tag team Diamond City War Machines. Eric Pinhat collects toys, and he takes Pinhat Photography. If you want to look him up on Instagram and check out his shit, it's absolutely amazing. He takes pro wrestling photos, he takes photos of his action figures and his personal collection. Fucking great. But over the course of knowing Eric, following him on social media, sharing locker rooms with him at times, I know that Eric has always been a fan of Ninja Turtles, and Eric collects the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figures. And he's always posting pictures about them and whatnot, and as I've been collecting Masters of the Universe figures for the past year, Eric and I have kind of we've been in each other's Facebook Messenger pretty much every day, every other day, just letting each other know, hey, buddy, I got this in the mail, or hey, look what I just pre-ordered, or he'll send me some photos of like, hey, it's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Secret of the Ooze Super Shredder figure. So, you know, we've had that rapport and friendship as far as, you know, sharing our toy collecting experiences. And basically with the toys that Eric collects, they are expensive. And by expensive, they're like $50, $60 a pop. And if you missed out on a certain figure that was available, that's no longer available, it's worth a shit ton more money now. So you're going to be paying more money to get said figure to complete your collection. So Eric's been keeping me posted on everything Ninja Turtle and NECA related that he's been getting over the last winter, spring, summer. And it's been pretty fucking fresh. And I gotta say, everything he's collecting has been completely out of my budget. You know what I mean? So it's like, on one hand, I'm like super envious because it's like, oh man, those Ninja Turtle figures look so fucking dope. I would love to have those NECA figures. And again, it's also going back to another scenario where I was working with my buddy Jay. And Jay, who, by the way, is responsible for the upcoming CamoCon figure I was able to obtain that I'm going to talk about on another episode. Jay also collects the NECA Ninja Turtle figures. But the thing is, Eric Pinhat is telling me all about the Ninja Turtle stuff that he's collecting now. But I remember when Jay was collecting these figures like 8-9 years ago, and how much everything's grown since then. Like, I remember when Jay got like the 4-pack of like the cel-shaded Turtles in Time NECA Ninja Turtle figures. And now, you know, here we are years later, and now Eric has the 4-pack of the Coming Out of Their Shells tour versions of the Ninja Turtle figures, and it's just fucking dope. So basically, as I was looking around online, looking at current Ninja Turtle lines, like, okay, if I wanted to grab like the 4 basic turtles, what would be a nice place to just not necessarily jump right in, but a nice line where I could dip my toes to give me my 4 Ninja Turtles back, while at the same time making me feel nostalgic like I did back in the day when I was collecting Ninja Turtles and owning them as a child. Because Masters of the Universe was one stage of my life. Ninja Turtles was a completely another stage of my life. Because Masters of the Universe, on my life timeline, on the life timeline of Ian Daddybones, Masters of the Universe began when I was 3 years old, and pretty much I was grown out of Masters of the Universe at the age of 9, because it was during my 8th year alive that my original Masters of the Universe collection got stolen. So when all those toys get stolen from me and I no longer have my Castle Grayskull and the majority of my figures, that kind of basically pulled the plug on Masters of the Universe for me as a child. I was pretty much done with it, threw in the towel. I quit. I don't want to play. You know, I was like Andy throwing away with Woody. Fuck you, He-Man. I don't want to play with you anymore. And, you know, He-Man's all falling. No! And that's basically what happened. I fell out of love with Ninja Turtles. My toys got stolen. You know, my parents got divorced. Jesus Christ. Get up here, Lemon Twist. There we go. Now my throat's all clear. But it's like my He-Man toys got stolen. My parents got divorced. And it's like, now I gotta move because my mom's taking me out of Binghamton and now we gotta go to Clifton Park. And it's like, I don't even know any of these people in this new fucking town you're moving me to. But basically that's what it was. I was done with Masters of the Universe. Wrestling was always there in the background. But that's basically where life was at the time. When I was 9 years old, my parents got divorced, you know, and between 88 and 89, that's when Ninja Turtles were new and first white hot popular, and I was all about that shit because basically when I was like 9, 10, 11, and 11 going on 12, that's when I was in my Ninja Turtle phase. That was when I was in my WWE Hasbro wrestling figures and my Ninja Turtles. After Masters of the Universe, Ninja Turtles was my jam. Between the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Playmates toy line, like, that was a great way to, like, not necessarily graduate. Like, you know how you have kindergarten, or if you're a parent, aren't kindergarten graduations the fucking worst? Like, why are you making a big deal about them graduating kindergarten? Who the fuck cares? They're gonna be going to school for the next 11 years, Karen. Why do you gotta celebrate them moving on from kindergarten to first? Emily's got her preschool graduation. Nobody cares. Nobody cares, Karen. That's all I gotta do is take another day off of work just because Emily's graduating preschool. And guess what? Next year, Emily's gonna be graduating kindergarten. And that's another day of work that I'm gonna have to take off and get yelled at by my boss because I need to be dad and I need to be there for my kids when they need me because I'm dad. Why are you trying to take money out of my pocket and food out of my mouth, Karen? Just because you have to celebrate little Emily's meaningless bullshit celebrational moments. Okay, sorry about that. Woo! I'm back from my meltdown. I'm sorry, I got completely off track with the little Emily rant. I'm sorry if you're a parent and you have a child named Emily. My rant was not directed at your little personal Emily. I mean, it might have been, I don't know. I don't exactly know who's offended right now, so I don't really know if in fact it was your daughter, Emily, that I offended, but moving on. Back to fucking Ninja Turtles. But that's the thing. When I was a kid, I had the cartoon, I had the toy line, and that's how I first got introduced, because everything, I was there throughout the entire evolution of when it was hot. Because it went from cartoon and toy line to like trading cards, merchandise, t-shirts, fucking earliest video games like arcade video games, and then we got a shitty Nintendo game, and then we got a Nintendo conversion of the arcade game, which was actually called the sequel on the Nintendo, and then we got Turtles in Time, and then that got a release on the Super Nintendo, and then Genesis got a version, only the Genesis version wasn't Turtles in Time. It was like they took Turtles in Time in the levels, they cut the game in half like an Uno deck, they reshuffled that shit, and they put out a game called the Hyperstone Heist, where all the levels were different, like colored and shit, and out of order, and it was totally crazy and had a different story and whatnot, but somewhat similar nonetheless. But, you know, I just, between the ages of 9 to 11 going on 12, that's when I was in my Ninja Turtle phase, you know, and 3rd to 6th grade, that's when I was in the Ninja Turtles and shit. And, you know, I had my fair share of my Ninja Turtles, and my back in the day homie, Bobby from back in the day, had his share of Ninja Turtle stuff, and that's what I remember, you know, when I was like 12, 13 years old, that's when I came a time in my life where I moved back up to Clifton Park with my mom when I was in like 7th grade. And that's when I was done with the Binghamton area schools. And that's when I went to a different school district. So I was no longer like hanging out with Bobby from back in the day as much as I used to after I turned 13. But it is nice to know that I have connected with him on Facebook, and he knows all about Ian versus Daddybones and the collecting of the Masters of the Universe figures. And I even told him too. I give him little shout outs every now and then. So if he's checking out the show right now, what up, Bobby from back in the day? I'm talking about Ninja Turtles, bro. But that's the thing. Me and Bobby from back in the day, we used to collect and play with our Ninja Turtles and shit, in addition to our Hasbro WWE wrestlers and what remained of the He-Man figures that I had left and the He-Man figures that he had left. Because when all my shit got stolen, that's when Bobby started getting King Randor and Extendar and Snout Spout and Clamp Champ and Scareglow and shit. And I just remember being like super pissed off. Because it's like, I remember seeing Bobby like get this new batch of figures and all mine are gone and whatnot. And it was just, it makes me smile now looking back on it, because it's like, I lost all that shit, but now I could look at my shelf of everything that I've been gathering with my kids and just, you know, fucking smile at it and then go to walk away and then stop and look over my shoulder like I'm Robert Redford and just fucking nod at my shelf of He-Man toys. But that's the thing, you know, I had them when I was a kid, and I've been well aware of Ninja Turtles going forward. Like when the Ninja Turtles was originally done with its first incarnation, there was like that 90, 93, 94, 95 period where there was no Ninja Turtles, but then you had that god-awful fucking live-action Ninja Turtle series with fucking the female Ninja Turtle that's absolute trash and nobody likes to talk about. But, you know, Ninja Turtles really, they didn't really come back into popularity again until like the early 2000s with like the, you know, I want to say the Toonami era of like Pokemon, Dragon Ball kids. And, you know, fucking, they had like a 2003, like where Masters of the Universe had its 2000 and X series. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles had its 2000 and X series. And me and one of my old podcast co-hosts, we used to watch that Ninja Turtles series when it got its brand new cartoon, and it had like that animated, you know, after school cartoon look and feel to it. It was really dope. But you know, and then you had like the CG TMNT movie, and then you had the fucking Michael Bay Ninja Turtle movies, which honestly I don't think they're as bad as everybody made them out to be. I mean there's still a lot of funny things about the Michael Bay Ninja Turtle movies that I just think are still funny. You know, a lot of them are just sound bites and whatnot, like, what the hell is squirrel formation? That's fucking hilarious to me, you know what I mean? And that's the thing, like, Ninja Turtles has like always like been there in the background, whether it was popular or like retro popular, nostalgic popular, and there's a difference. But, you know, Ninja Turtles had a, you know, original popularity in the 80s going into the 90s. Then it had like, you know, it was pretty much dead during the 90s. But then, well, the mid to late 90s, but then early 2000 it started like slowly coming back, and then movies and whatnot, and eventually Nickelodeon bought that shit. So now Nickelodeon owns Ninja Turtles, and like my son turns, he's gonna turn 16 this year. But like when Owen was 3 years old, you know, when Nickelodeon first bought Ninja Turtles, and they put out like the first line of like the Ninja Turtle figures in Walmart, like that year for Christmas, like I'm thinking in my head, I'm thinking 2010, 2011 holiday, I got Owen the complete wave of those Ninja Turtle figures. Like I got him the 4 turtles, but he also got Splinter, he got Shredder, he got a Foot Soldier, he got Krang. And that version of Krang was dope because Krang looked like he was like in a Terminator exoskeleton instead of that weird looking alien body that he had on the 80s cartoon. But that was it, you know, that was my first attempt at trying to get my son into Ninja Turtles. And I don't know, you like Ninja Turtles, right? I need a voice sample. Shrugging shoulders doesn't tell me anything.
No.
Do you like Ninja Turtles?
No.
Then leave. Right now. No, serious, I need you. Sit down. But no, I basically tried buying Owen Ninja Turtles and getting him into Ninja Turtles, and I tried teaching. It was my first attempt at trying to teach him to, you know, be nice with your toys, take care of her stuff. What daddy buys you costs money, and if you lose stuff, your toys lose value. And I know you're 3 and you don't know the value of $1, but I need you to know the value of $1, because I don't care if you're 3. Money is money. It makes the world go round. It's all about money, power, and respect. Oh, and you need to know this. But basically, I got in the Ninja Turtle figures, and of course, within like 3 months, Raph was missing a sai. Mikey had a broken nunchuck. I don't know where Leo's swords are. You know what I mean? Complete epic fail. So, basically, when I was looking around, getting interested in grabbing like just some basic 4 turtles to put on my toy shelf, I was looking around, and since the NECA stuff was out of my budget, I came across these. I came across this company. Now, it's weird because on the front of the package it says there's a crown logo, and in the box it says BST AXN, which stands for Best Action. Not bad. But so at first I thought BST AXN Best Action was the name of the company. But the name of the company is actually the Loyal Subjects, theloyalsubjects.com. And, the Loyal Subjects has these BST AXN figures that basically, from what I understand, with these figures is I want to say they're like an easy to collect line. They're affordable. They're not too expensive, but they're not like, they don't feel cheap. You know what I mean? They don't look like crap figures. I mean, honestly, I gotta say, compared to like everything I bought as far as Masterverse figures go, and I really like the Masters of the Universe packaging for Masterverse, I feel with these BST AXN Ninja Turtle figures, the packaging is really bright. You got like the plastic portion on the front, and it's got the glossy, what's it called? Was it embossed? But basically it's got bright pictures on the back showing you the figure, and that's the thing. The Masterverse figures, they're advertising and they're promoting 30 points of articulation. These figures are promoting 31 points of articulation, which kind of throws me off, because I don't know what the extra point of articulation is. I mean, unless there's a giant ass turtle penis hidden somewhere underneath that shell, I have no idea what that other 1 point of articulation is going to be. But I gotta say, as far as accessories go, they're all these basic figures, all 4 of these main turtles, looking at the back of their boxes, they all come with their main weapons. They all come with 2 extra sets of hands. They all come with an extra head, because they all have like a basic dirt face, but then they have a second type face. So they all come with an extra head. They all come with their main weapons, and mostly some of them come with extra accessories, because I'm noticing Leo comes with a manhole cover sewer lid. Donnie comes with a piece of pizza. Raph comes with a ninja shuriken and a kunai. And Michelangelo comes with his Hero Turtle grappling hook, which is another thing I wanted to just briefly talk about. That's another thing with being a Ninja Turtle fan, from being a kid watching and playing with Ninja Turtles to being a nerdy, geeky gamer as a teenager and adult growing up, and learning little tidbits and facts. Like over in England, they were called Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles because they banned the word ninja, because ninja was too offensive over there, and all of the footage of Michelangelo using his nunchucks were spliced and edited out of the episodes. And that's why in later seasons of Ninja Turtles, Michelangelo had the grappling hook as his main weapon instead of the nunchucks. So I always thought that was kind of weird back in the day. And by back in the day, I mean in my 20s back in the day, when they were putting out Ninja Turtle figures that was coming out with Mikey with the grappling hook, because it kind of always bothered me that they focused on always including that as an accessory, because it's like, dude, that's not his weapon. He uses the nunchucks. Everybody knows Mikey uses the nunchucks, but sure enough, they have both sets of weapons for him. But I do gotta say, you know, overall, you know, the packaging design looks pretty slick. So even if, like, I don't know how your home setup is, if you have like a shelf you display your stuff on, or sometimes if you have a decent painted sheetrocked wall, you know what I mean? A simple push pin will do, and you could just have this fucking thing rest on your wall on a push pin, and you'll be good to go. It's not gonna weigh too much to fall off or shit, and that's usually how I like displaying my stuff. But I gotta say, you know, as far as the packaging goes, you know, these figures look very sweet and they pop just being in the package alone. But I've had these since July, and it's funny because basically at the beginning of last summer, my family, I was getting ready to take the kids to Knoebels, and which is a small amusement park in Pennsylvania, if you're unfamiliar with it. It's one of Mick Foley's favorite amusement parks, and that's the thing. I take my kids to Knoebels, and I always think about, like, oh, I wonder if Mick Foley's here today. But basically, we were on our way to Knoebels, and that's when I was browsing around the internet, and that's when I was first looking for like a decent Ninja Turtle line that I could start investing in. You know, let's just start with the 4 turtles, and eventually we'll work our way to Splinter and April and Shredder and Krang and Rocksteady and Bebop and Casey Jones and everybody else. We'll get there when we'll get there. It's not about the destination. It's the journey. One figure at a time. Slow roast, marinate that fucking collection. So that's when I first stumbled across these figures, and I gotta say, between the packaging and whatnot and all the extras and the multiple accessories and shit, I'm like, you know what, based on the scale, you know, these look like they would blend in with the Masters of the Universe figures. They wouldn't seem too off, and I do gotta say, eventually, after clearing it with my wife, got these ordered. And it's funny because these figures, like, we're in January right now. These figures have been sitting in a box, hanging on a wall, stuffed in a crate. Multiple places these figures have been since last summer, when, like, thoughts in my head for getting started with this new show and getting it off the ground. Like, the earliest seeds for Ian versus Daddybones was being planted when I basically was looking to buy these figures. So opening these today is a big deal to me. But as you can see, because I've already held the box open, Donatello is already opened. I kind of jumped the gun one night because honestly, I'm not going to front. During the holiday thing, I was like, you know, it's just one of those things. You know, there were multiple things stressing me out during the holidays. You know, my wife got in a car accident that could have been a lot fucking worse. You know what I mean? I got issues with people I was butting heads in who I felt were making their priorities more important than shit I was dealing with and pissing me off. On top of my furnace being on the fritz, and it just seemed like money seemed to be off at times over the course of the month while trying to nail everything and take care of everything in preparation for the holidays. So it's just one of those nights where I decided, you know what? I'm just going to go work out. I'm going to go burn some steam. I'm not going to drink like I didn't any other day for the past year. And I'm going to go downstairs and I'm going to get a jump start on these Ninja Turtles that have been sitting down here and that I plan on talking about on the show. And, you know, I looked over the 4 Ninja Turtles and I decided, you know what? On all the polls I ever really read online when people are asked, hey, who's your favorite Ninja Turtle? Donnie's always in last place. Everybody's always like, fuck you, Donatello. Nobody likes you. You're a loser. And he's always at the bottom of the list. Why? Why does Donatello gotta get picked on? Why do y'all gotta be mean? Fucking assholes. Like, why? Because he's got glasses? This is because he's a nerd. I'm a nerd too. I'm a nerd. And you're fucking watching me play with myself. And you like it. You're a pervert. But anyway, back to the Ninja Turtle. I went down there because everybody gives Donatello a hard time. Nobody really cares about Donatello. Everybody shits on Donatello. And that's why I decided to open him first. Because you know what? Nobody wants to watch me open Donatello. So I decided to open him up just to get a hands-on experience before I record this show. Just to check out these figures and see what they're all about. And I gotta say, for starters, 31 points of articulation. I will say the joints on these figures are a lot more easier and fun to bend, like than the Masters of the Universe Origins. Like, don't get me wrong, like with opening the Origins figures, a lot of the joints are stiff. So sometimes I feel like I'm gonna break the arm at the elbow if I keep trying to bend it. Like if I force it to bend, it's gonna snap and then I'm gonna be fucked. And you know, I should have left it in the package. It was fucking fine until I took it off the wall and decided to open it. And like Matt Cardona, I decided to let it breathe. And look what fucking happened now. Now he's got a broken elbow. Now he's a gimp because the fucking knee snapped, and now I gotta get a Barbie wheelchair for my one-legged fucking He-Man to sit in, just so we could put him on the shelf so he doesn't roll and fall the fuck off. But I gotta say, standing up the Ninja Turtles to the Masters of the Universe Origins figures, they're a little short. They're like just about an inch, 3/4 of an inch shorter than the Masters of the Universe figures, but at the same time, they seem like they fit in fine. Because there's been plenty of times where like anime, cartoons, you know what I mean, whether it's comic books or what, there's always been the hero and there's always been the villain that the hero has to look up to. So if the 4 Ninja Turtles have to look up at Skeletor, I don't think it's that big a deal. You know what I mean? If they have to look up at He-Man when they're shaking hands with him, I don't think that's a bad thing at all. And real quick too, come to find out, because social media has been introducing me to so many things, but Freddie Williams, he's an artist. He's on Instagram. He keeps posting like images and shit that I've been following his stuff for like the past year and a half during the pandemic, and he's put out a bunch of sketches and images. Apparently at some point there was supposed to be a Masters of the Universe Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover comic book that actually wound up getting vetoed at the last minute and canceled. So in the downtime, he's been posting some of his images and art and concepts and stuff that he drew and came up with that never officially got released. But at one point there was going to be a Masters of the Universe Ninja Turtles crossover, and there's an image of Leonardo where Leonardo's like wearing He-Man's armor, but instead of holding 2 katana blades, he's got He-Man's power sword split down the middle, and Leonardo's holding the 2 halves of the power sword, and it just looks fucking sick. But basically, I'm gonna in a moment I'm gonna time lapse this shit, and I'm gonna open these figures up, and then we're gonna get back and call it a day with the show. But I do gotta say, after opening up Donatello and getting started, I do gotta say the figures are very great when they're, you know, trying to pose them and move them around. Their feet move. He's got the double knee joint. The thighs rotate. It feels like he's on a ball joint for the crotch, and then on the arms, it's like it's got the, I don't know, it's weird. It kind of reminds me of like a ball stick of deodorant with the way the shoulder ball joints work, because it just rotates and rocks, but it also goes up and down and whatnot, and it doesn't have like the swivel, so the arms don't go up like that. But for the most part, you know, you could get pretty much decent shelf poses where the turtle's, not gonna fall over as I'm like making sure my Donnie doesn't fall over. But overall, I gotta say, it's been over 25 years. You know what? Fuck that. I can't say that because I'm the one that opened your Ninja Turtles. It's at this point, it's been 13 years since the last time I opened Ninja Turtle figures, but it's been over 25 years since I opened my own Ninja Turtle figures. So, I mean, I will say that, in the event of something, happening to me and I fucking die or something, I'm gonna leave these to Owen someday. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I know he's not the biggest fan of Ninja Turtles, but I think as long as he knows that, my dad used to like Ninja Turtles. My dad tried getting me into Ninja Turtles, so if I have Ninja Turtles, that will make me think of my dad. So that's what I'm hoping. But I don't know. These I don't know. This is definitely like something I just like to give my kids someday. Just be like, you hold on to it, you think of me, and I fucking love you. Because I loved Ninja Turtles when I was a kid. And, when I became a dad, it was one of those things like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna have a son. Now I can get him into wrestling and Ninja Turtles and fucking Marvel and Spider-Man, Harry Potter and Star Wars. But yeah, I am very impressed with the quality of these figures so far, but we'll get talking to them. We'll get talking about that when I open up the rest of the figures. So with that said, let's open them up.
Fuck Ian Daddybones. Fuck Twin Widow, whatever the hell it is. No one gives a shit about you, Ian. Everyone hates you. Fuck off.
Oh my god, I'm so excited. Having a banger and you're all invited. Share with friends and I'll see you later. Bring everyone, invite my haters. Throw your hands in the fucking air. Let's push a cripple down a flight of stairs. Got new shit right for your ears. My Hadouken is downright fierce. Rock out with my cock out. Jump around, I got your shout outs. I'm Daddybones, no need to panic. Talking riddles like a schizophrenic. 24/7, I got the party. Roofie-roos and whoop-de-doos. Retarded fools with attitudes, bro. Everything's mixed with Bacardi. Glow stick black like tons of bubbles. Titties on bitches, nothing but trouble. Got my pills, ain't no quitter. Pop that shit, here comes my glitter. Not a dancer, I got no skills. Bobbing my head and standing still. Tons of bitches, ravers, goths. Down to fuck and get your salad tossed. It's the greatest thing that you ever saw. Put your hands in the air for a party rock. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Having a bang and you're all invited. Get kids posing, muscles flexing, trainings dressed like your favorite X-Men. If there's one thing that drives me crazy, you give high fives but you fucking hate me. Might have rabies, might have herpes. Breastfeed me and you'll have to burp me. I'll be up on stage, throwing out beads, grabbing my dick and spraying my seed all over your face. That's fucking rude. Raise it up and show your boobs. Dance around and go friggin' nuts. Just b-boy stance and light your blunts. Don't be a cunt. Tuck your chain, don't start no shit. Use your brain, it's all a game. Let's play some Yahtzee. Eat Tide Pods and punch a Nazi. Not a dancer, I got no skills. Bobbing my head and standing still. Tons of bitches, ravers, goths.
Down to fuck and get your salad tossed. It's the greatest thing that you ever saw. Put your hands in the air for a party rock.
Oh my god, I'm so excited. Having a bang and you're all invited.
Alright, and we are officially back. The brothers have been officially opened up, unboxed, reunited here on Ian vs. Daddybones. And I gotta say, after getting all four of the turtles opened up, they really look pretty fucking fresh. Very nostalgic. Takes me back to my childhood. Just seeing them all assembled with all their weapons looking brand new. Nothing's lost. And it's going to get lost because my kids are going to keep their grubby fucking hands off my shit. But overall, I'm very impressed. You know what? If you pony up the cash and give me $1 for the Patreon, you would have been able to watch how much of a struggle some of these figures were when it came to swapping off the heads. And I learned real quick how easy it is for the legs to fall off and pop right back on. So at first, there was a couple moments where I thought, oh god, I just opened him and I fucking broke him. But that wasn't the case. Everything's back the way they should be. Got the alternate heads popped on, so everybody's making their grrr face. But I do have the trap jaw that I didn't talk about in the last episode. I have him in the shot behind the turtles just to give you a little visual of the similarity in scale, the difference in scale, because these Masters of the Universe figures are 5.5 inch, just like the Origins figures. But I've even like had Donatello like standing next to Whiplash that I opened on episode 10, and even comparing Donatello in size to like Whiplash and fucking Burger King Randy, you know, Donatello still looks pretty short compared to you know, the regular Origins figures. But you know, like, if that wasn't Trapjaw, and if that was like the size of like Rocksteady or Bebop in this line, you know, that's pretty impressive. You know what I mean? That's you know, they're definitely on scale as far as like, you know, it's similar. Like, it's not like me as a kid where I had my He-Man toys and my giant ass Hulk Hogan figure, and there's a size difference. You know, it's not like I had I had one of the Sectars when I was a kid. I had like the good guy Sectar with the, like, you know, he looked like he was like Mantis's dad from Guardians of the Galaxy, and like he was super tall, but like, you know, my other action figures were shorter and shit. And it looked like, you know, everything just looked like a hodgepodge toy box, you know, when you're trying to play with your toys and whatnot. At least with these being the same scale, you know, I could see my son, you know, playing with these and like everything making sense to him because they're all like the same size. It's not like he's got giant figure and this little short figure and whatnot. So, you know, for like a child's imagination, they'll have a lot of fun playing with these Ninja Turtles and incorporating them into other toy lines for like crossover play purposes and shit, and pretty fucking fresh. So I do gotta say, I'm very happy overall with the quality of these turtles. I do plan on continuing with my collection of this BST AXN Ninja Turtle line, and you know, I'm not gonna get too crazy with it because I'm starting to see that Loyal Subjects is kind of getting crazy with the Ninja Turtles that they're putting out. Like, I guess when it gets to a point to where they got a line of 4 turtles coming out where there's like 3 different versions of like every turtle, or maybe there's 4 versions of every turtle. One's like, and it's like the turtle's wearing a varsity jacket or like a leather jacket, or they're wearing, it's like street looking turtles, but they're wearing different outfits. But there's like 3 or 4 Donatellos. There's like 3 or 4 Leonardos. So it's like, either way, if you buy all of them, you're gonna have 16 turtles, and they're all wearing different coats. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not interested in those, but I'm definitely interested in getting the other basic core figures: Splinter, April, Shredder, Krang, you know what I mean, Foot Soldier, Casey Jones, Rocksteady, and Bebop. Those are who I'm gonna be looking for this year. But I'm off to a great start with the 4 basic turtles. So with that said, that's going to do it for this episode of Ian vs. Daddybones. Next week, we're opening up CamoCon and talking about Mattel Creations figures I bought last year and what I'm looking forward to this year with Mattel Creations. So, for everybody watching the show, thank you very much. To all the Patreon subscribers, thank you very much, and I fucking love y'all. If you're not a Patreon subscriber, why the fuck not? It's telling you right there where to go. It's $1 a month. Trust me, if I can't expect you to be $1 reoccurring monthly charge and a subscriber of Ian Daddybones, I can't expect you to pay $20 for a t-shirt. So I'm trying to make it simple and easy for you, my guy, plus giving you something in the process. Everybody else, head on over to the YouTube channel, Ian vs. Daddybones. Smash that like button, click subscribe, hit the bell notification, interact, leave a comment, share. You could also follow me, Ian vs. Daddybones, on TikTok. And we got the Twitter back, Ian vs. Daddybones on Twitter. And until next time, cheers, Pete!
Epic roast guy. Epic roast guy. Meme Lord for real. Yeah.
Yup. Yeah. Yup. Yeah. Yup. Yeah. Yup. Yeah. Yup. Yeah.